Let's speak to the journalist and commentator Nabila Ramdani. Do you agree with John's analysis that this is a sort of messy compromise? This isn't a showdown in the making?
Yes, indeed. Nothing is particularly clear in Egypt at the moment, and I would contend that this constitutional wrangling is not just about whether the president has the authority to reinstate parliament. It's more than that. Remember, this is a president whose powers haven't been defined yet, whose powers have been immensely limited by a military granting itself sweeping powers just before the second round of the presidential elections, and a country with no constitution.
But explain where this goes from here, then, because if parliament is dissolved and isn't sitting, when is the constitution, how is the constitution going to be written?
Well, this situation is indicative of the immense problems which were envisaged, and it will take a strong leadership by this new president to effectively put in place the foundations of rule and law and indeed democracy. No democracy is immune to constitutional crises, let alone a fledgling republic like Egypt, which has little experience of democracy. And putting aside all the fears about religious dogma, Mohammed Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood will have to work out these crucial legal matters, and Morsi is indeed surrounded by a very slick organization which include highly trained international lawyers, and he will be heavily relying on these people.
How much trust, though, exists between the military and President Morsi at the moment and the Muslim Brotherhood?
There is a tension, of course, between two historic rivals, and Mohammed Morsi has tried time again to try and subtly send signals to the army to effectively tell them to remain in their place, to be in charge of what the army is supposed to do, law and order, the protection of the population, and not get involved in politics. And this is the hardest challenge ahead.
But isn't this a loss of face for him? It's only a couple of days ago that President Morsi decreed that Parliament should reconvene.
I do not believe so. I think that on the face of a defiant move by President Morsi to call for Parliament to reconvene, and there is more to it. It's probably more to do with a more complex deal behind the scenes between the Muslim Brotherhood and indeed the army.
But will the street supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood be prepared to sit this one out and wait? They're wanting things to happen much more quickly, aren't they?
Yes, indeed, because they would like a president, like in any democracy, when a newly president comes in, he relies heavily on a parliament with a majority to push through reform. And that's precisely what the Muslim Brotherhood enjoyed, a majority in the democratically elected parliament before it was dissolved. So people who elected the Muslim Brotherhood, of which there are many, would want a parliament with a majority of Muslim brothers back in.
As soon as possible.
Absolutely.
OK, Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much.